If you want to piss a hick off, tell him wrestling is fake,
diabetes
is real, NASCAR is not a sport, and the Taurus Judge is a pointless piece of shit. Hey everyone, James again with TFBTV. Today on TFBTV, we are doing the top 5 most controversial guns. Pretty much speaks for itself. These are the 5 guns that just really piss you guys off for some reason. And we're going with number 5, the Taurus Judge. And I say piss you guys off, this one pisses me off too. And it may seem like I'm beating a dead horse, but son of a bitch, this horse is very alive and well, the Taurus Judge. I talked about it in my top 5 most overrated guns video. I'll throw a card up there so you can go check that out if you want to. But if you don't know what the Taurus Judge is, the Taurus Judge is a gun, it's a revolver where you can load in 45 Colt or 410 shotgun shells. Now, it sounds kind of cool, right? And I think that's why facially it's been doing so well in the market. But as far as being a self-defense gun, totally utterly pointless. Of course, you're not going to use birdshot for self-defense out of a Taurus Judge, so you're going to use maybe buckshot. If you look at how 410 buckshot's composed, it's basically 3 or 4 rounds of lead buck, and when you fire them, they all smush against each other. So it's basically like you're firing little small coins at your attacker. So what about slugs? Well, at that point, 410 shotgun slugs out of a revolver aren't any better. If anything, they're probably worse than the 45 long Colt that you can just shoot out of the Taurus Judge. So why even mess with it? I'm not saying that there's no purpose whatsoever for a Taurus Judge. I've seen comments in some of my other videos, people use it for pest control, they use it for snake shot. Hell, if you want to get it for range blasting, that's fine. But if you want to get down in my comments and tell me that a Taurus Judge shooting 410 is more effective than a 6-shot 357 Magnum, then be gone. Go back to Yankee Marshall or whatever the hell else you're watching on YouTube. Now, scooting on up to the number 4, this one really pisses a lot of you guys off. I don't get it, but it really upsets people when they see a Glock 19X. For those of you that don't know the Glock 19X, Glock basically took the compact Glock 19 slide, so shorter barrel, shorter sight radius, and they put it on a 17 frame, which is the full-size, larger frame. Now, this really upset a lot of people because you've got a lot of people that look at the Glock 19 as like the ultimate carry gun, and I think it's a fantastic carry gun. But when you're traditionally concealing a pistol, the butt is the hardest part to conceal. And so people thought that Glock kind of went backwards, that they should have done a 19 frame with a 17 slide. And I think that would be awesome. I really would love to see that. But Glock did the opposite. They did the 17 frame with the 19 slide. They submitted this gun to MHS. This was its competitor to replace the military's next sidearm. Now, I've read a lot of police officers actually like it because they say it's easier to get in and out of the car with that shorter barrel, but you still have the full grip. It's controllable. And guys, let's face it, is the Glock 17 really that much more accurate or effective than the Glock 19? Personally, I don't think so, but this gun really set some people off. That said, they sold 100,000 copies of it the first summer it was introduced, and it was so popular that now they've introduced the Glock 45. I've got a separate video on the Glock 45, thought it was a great gun. Now, me personally, the 19 fits me just fine. I think it'd be kind of cool to have a 19 frame with the 17 slide, but at the end of the day, I'm perfectly happy with the 19, and I don't see why so many people are so pissed off. I mean, really, I haven't seen this many people this pissed off since every time they cancel McRib. Moving on to the number 3, holy moly, the cell phone gun. Oh my God. So I posted this video of the cell phone gun on my Instagram account, and people lost their minds. You had people saying, wow, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I had so many people DM me saying, where can I get this gun? How do I get it? How do I get it if I'm in Romania or Canada or whatever? It was wild. But you also had a lot of people who were really, really upset by the cell phone gun. There were people saying, this is how you get killed. There were people saying that the government's going to see these cell phone guns, they're going to ban them, or they're going to introduce these sweeping changes in gun laws to combat the evil cell phone gun. And perhaps the wildest ass conspiracy theory I've heard in a long time, people were saying that this gun was kind of concocted by a police union to give cops excuses to shoot perpetrators if they see them with their cell phone. totally bananas. Could not believe it. I mean, you had so many people who were super into this gun. I thought it was pretty neat. Would I carry it over, say, like a Keltec P380 or something, or a Ruger LCP? Probably not, but I thought it was kind of a cool thing. There were a lot of people that thought it was an awesome transformer gun, but man, did it rile some people up. All right, moving on to number 2, a strong contender for number 1, and you guys are going to be really impressed that I managed to squeeze 2 Glocks into this list. That is the full conceal folding Glock. For people that don't know what that is, full conceal, they basically took a Glock, sawed it in half, and they make it so you can fold it and put it in your pocket. They then charge double, like around $1,000 a gun, and I saw it and I was like, whatever, you know, it's, I guess, kind of neat, whatever. But you guys, I have never seen so much hate or vitriol directed to a gun company that hasn't pushed for gun control legislation. I mean, all they did was come out with a new product that they saw that there was perhaps a niche for, and people have been buying them. But I have never seen so much hate like on social media. Oh, Instagram meme game is on point. Like, there are people blowing up some fire memes, but there's a lot of hate behind them. And I don't understand what the problem is. Like, if somebody wants to elect to carry that gun, so be it. I mean, it's not traditional, but I don't really know what to say. I did a video, like, what's the deal with the full conceal? I'll throw a link up there and you can see my longer comments about it. I also even wrote an article about it for TFB. I feel like I'm in the middle here, and I don't understand. I can see why people say that it's not practical, but I don't understand where, frankly, all this hate's coming from, and full conceal really isn't helping themselves out either. I mean, the golden rule of marketing: do not engage. Don't engage the trolls, but they're going in there left, right. You can't get in a shit fight without stinking a little bit. Anyways, I guess it's like, okay, cool. I mean, you can take a Glock, fold it, put it in your pocket. The trigger on it's pretty good. And it's neat because I think with the Glock 43, which is traditionally a 6+1 gun, it holds 6 rounds in the magazine, 1 in the chamber. Well, when you fold it in half with that 6-round magazine, it actually is not a perfect rectangle. So you can get a little bit more room there, and you can use one of the extended magazines, I think maybe a 9-round magazine, and it makes a perfect rectangle, and it fits in your pocket all the same as if there was a 6+1. So whatever, there's some advantages to it. I guess if you want to put a Glock in your pocket, you can do that, and you get more capacity, and the trigger's pretty good on it. I get why people are like, this is a bad idea, but I just don't understand where all the hate's coming from. Anyways, that is definitely the number 2. Now, moving on to number 1. I said the full conceal was pretty close, a close contender for number 1, but now that I think about it, the Ghost Gunner is definitely the number 1 most controversial gun. And I say gun because the Ghost Gunner itself, it's a machine. It is like a little CNC machine, or a 3D printer, or whatever you want to call it. I got to have a look at it at TriggerCon in Seattle. I got to speak with Cody Wilson of Defense Distributed, formerly of Defense Distributed, I should say, without getting into that at all. But I thought it was a pretty neat little thing, and it allows you to take 80% receivers. So those are receivers that are 80% completed. You can't just slap them onto a gun or attach parts to them and make it a functioning gun. You actually have to finish them out. But you can take 80% receivers, like AR-15 receivers, Glock receivers, or Glock frames, even 1911 frames. You can put them in the machine will finish them out, and then you can buy all the other parts that are not regulated legally. You don't need a background check to buy an AR-15 upper or barrel or whatever. You only need to get the background check for the registered component, which is the receiver with the serial number. So what does that mean? That means you can buy the 80% receiver without getting a background check. You can buy all the components without getting a background check. If you have a Ghost Gunner machine, boom, you can make it and Ghost Gun. So you can see why this is so controversial, and this is probably the only gun out of all of these guns that has made national news purely for the controversy. I mean, you had the Glock 19X. It was out there as an MHS gun. It was in the news. You had the cell phone gun that's been kind of passed around as a viral thing, but none of the other guns in this list were talked about in national media. purely for purposes of controversy, the way the Ghost Gunner and the Ghost Gun machine were. I guess if you really held my feet to the fire and you said, hey James, Ghost Gunner, that's not fair, that's a machine, that's not really a gun, and you wanted me to name a gun, I forget what the single shot defense distributed gun is called, like the Liberator or some shit like that. But it's a plastic single shot 22 that you can make at home with a 3D printer, no background check, no serial number, no nothing. But the thing is, that's kind of a piece of garbage. Everybody lost their minds over it, but it's like a single shot 22 that'll probably break after you shoot it a couple of times. So I didn't really think that that was as controversial as the Ghost Gunner machine. But if you made me pick a gun for the list, that would definitely be it, just because of the national hysteria it caused, mostly among people who really don't understand guns. So in any event, the more I think about it, the more I am positive that the Ghost Gunner or any of the defense distributed guns definitely deserve the #1 spot as the most controversial guns on the list. And guys, honorable mentions, of course, anything with a bump stock or a pistol brace would definitely be honorable mentions. Almost made it to this list, but I really liked these 5 guns as the most controversial. What do you guys think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Is there a gun that's more controversial that I missed? Maybe I'll do a round 2 if you guys like this video and you've got some more ideas. Put them down in the comments. Guys, we are also giving away a gun a month to Patreon supporters at the $5 level or higher. You are eligible to win a free gun automatically every month. All you have to do is just sign up for the $5. We pick everybody $5 and higher from Patreon. We randomly pick a gun this month, October. It is a Ruger Security 9. So go on there to Patreon. We also give away 2 Blue Alpha Gear belts to people donating at any level. And as a new perk, we're giving away the How to Treat Gunshot Wounds handbook, a pretty neat little book from US Law Shield. Anyways, guys, thanks a ton as usual for watching the video. I hope you guys are nice and riled up. Get in the comments. Let me have it. It's good for engagement. Get down there. Tell me what you think. Otherwise, I will see you next week. Take care.